Phone too. Like I don't know if it's something's going on with Apple, but it's not working.
Yeah, I need a Boza jersey. I got a Boza shirt. But not a
Can you
jersey.
see it? Yeah, you can see it now.
I
You
like
see
it.
the 97.
Looks tight.
Yeah.
I probably got to go. Welcome to your Stick Niner Empire podcast with Lucas McLaughlin and Lucas Ortiz. I am your other host here today, Mike Arango. And let's get right to it, guys. We won today by the score of 31-14. Am I correct? 31-14 on a day that the Niners looked like they couldn't do much wrong. And we were steamrolling today. Today was the first game with Christian McCaffrey, and
Who's
boy,
that?
did he look nuclear. What are you guys' thoughts? I think he helped out in so many ways. I think one of the things that he really brought to us today was the fact that he makes the short passing game elite. Whenever Jimmy has to go on a check down move, Christian McCaffrey was there. And Christian McCaffrey is not your typical, 1 or 2 yard check down guy. Frank Gore, I loved to death, but he was more like that 3-4 yard check down. And then sometimes he had some big runs. This guy goes nuclear when you give him a 5 yard, makes, 2 yard pass, makes the first guy miss, runs for 20-30 yards. He looked unstoppable yesterday. I think it's a perfect fit for the system. I know we got criticized by a couple of writers in the media saying it wasn't a good trade. Based on this game, and again, it's just one game. We have a long way to go. This is looking like the type of trade that could salvage our season. What do you guys think? Starting with you, Ortiz.
Yeah, man, this was the Christian McCaffrey show, so to speak. He did it all. He threw one, he caught one, he ran one in. So far, it looks good, justifying the trade. We gave up a lot, but I think as long as he stays healthy, that's the big thing. I think he's gonna be well worth the draft picks that we gave up for him. And we didn't have Debo in this game, so we needed somebody to step up. Christian was more than willing to get a lot of touches. I
He
think he
wants
got
it.
about
You can
8.
tell.
I think at one point he had 8 out of the 13 plays he touched the ball, which is that's
And
that's
can you imagine? Can you
that's
imagine
high
when him
praise for
and
somebody. I think Kyle
can you
likes him a lot.
imagine? Can you imagine when him and Debo get together in the same
Oh,
backfield,
it's
two
gonna be
running backs coming out? You don't know who's getting that screen.
yeah, yeah, and don't forget Elijah Mitchell's going to be coming back after the bye. That's the other thing is we really needed to win this game going into the bye. Stewing on a bad loss for 2 weeks is torture. I mean, it's nothing worse than going into that bye week after losing to your bitter rival, the Rams.
Jimmy, but
Um,
yeah,
yeah, I
interesting.
mean, my condolences to Sean McVay for losing that game, and also on a sad note, the 49ers lost somebody, and I think his grandfather just passed away today. Former GM for the San Francisco 49ers in the 80s. So not a good week to be in McVay. But on a brighter note, yeah, we saw a lot of what Kyle is going to do with Christian McCaffrey. He made plays that the top wide receivers in the league probably couldn't make. That catch in the back of the end zone just
Unbelievable.
was insane. It was like ballet Barishnikov type
Yeah, little guy
aerial
got up
moves
there.
and body control, and when
Just
he was
beautiful.
able to get himself to land inside the end zone without stepping out of bounds was insane. Like, just it's not something every player can do in the NFL, and it's really it's an awesome feeling to know that he's going to be on your team, albeit we got to keep that guy healthy. I still think we can't give him the ball too much. We got to kind of limit his runs, and I do not want to see him running out the clock in the fourth quarter under 2 minutes with a 3-score lead. Like, that was I was holding my breath. I know you guys were too. Just like, what is this guy doing in the game? Why is Kyle giving him the ball with no reason other than to get hurt. So, you
I
know,
agree, Luke.
we
Like,
we got lucky. We got lucky
To,
there.
to
Luke, what
have
do
a
you think?
game, to have a game like he had, and then to sit in the interview and say, well, I think there was still meat on the bone. Holy cow. I love that because he's just
Did he
like,
say that?
yeah, he said
yeah,
that
he
to
did. He
multiple
did.
times apparently to
Oh, I
different
missed
people.
it.
Like there was still meat on that bone, still meat on that bone. He wants more. But the thing
I
of it
loved it.
is I think like I was kind of bummed out when I heard about Wilson Jr. Uh, leaving the team um
Yeah.
and
For
but
for
then
those of you that don't know, Wilson Jr. got traded today along with. Did we trade for somebody else? Or was that the only trade on our team?
We got a
I
fifth
think
round pick for him,
But
which
we
is
didn't make
gold
any
for
other
us.
trades.
Luke
but
will
the
tell you that's gold for us.
the thing of it is like when I heard that I was bummed, but then I thought about it and Mitchell's coming back, and you guys reminded me that Mitchell's coming back, and I thought to myself, oh, he would have been on the practice squad anyway. I mean, if Mitchell comes back and is healthy as 100%, I mean,
Right.
between him and McCaffrey, as long as they can stay healthy, we can go a long ways. And you know, I do understand what Peacock was saying. I don't know if you guys heard Locked
Hmm.
On, but you know, I do understand you can't overwork him either. You know, you can't expect him to have a game like that every time. And
You shouldn't.
easy to want that, but and of course he's going to want it, but you got to use him a little more sparingly in the future so that he doesn't get hurt.
Of course. 100% agreed. Even if he can carry the load for a while, because he's already shown that he could do it twice in his career.
Yeah.
The problem is the other half of his career. So he's been in the league, what, 4 years? 2 years, he's carried the load like crazy, been great. 2 years, he got hurt. So you got to find a good balance in there using him. I would agree with you, Luke.
You know, when you watch him, you kind of get that impression that in high school he was never left the field except for maybe like a punt. Not even then. But he's playing like
Well, he certainly
defense,
fits the mold of the team.
offense, freaking special teams.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
he's a freak. I don't know if you guys know this. Like, he's a freak athlete, but there's a good reason behind it. Actually just found out this yesterday. Not only was his dad a professional NFL player, but his mom's side of the family has some special athletes. His grandfather won a silver medal in the Olympics in the 100-meter race, which is, if you guys think
Wow.
about it, the 100-meter race is like the highlight of the track and field events. It's the fastest person in the world. His grandfather was the second
Wow.
fastest person in the world that year
wow.
in the Olympics.
That I
So you
didn't
have that
know.
kind of gene. You have those kind of genes running through your veins. You're going to be special.
What about his mom, dude? Wasn't his mom an Olympic athlete
She was
as
an
well?
athlete too. Yeah,
You know
yeah,
how I
yeah.
know this? I know this because I remember years ago, I remember his father, Ed McCaffrey, when he was on the Niners for a little while, right? He was a
Yep.
wide receiver.
Yeah.
And I
Catching
remember
passes
him.
from Joe Montana and Steve Young, if I
I
remember correctly.
remember being a young kid and listening to the story when he met his wife.
He had a great
know,
game.
Jimmy had the kind of game, if he repeated this every single game, he would be in the MVP talk.
Yep.
He would. He would.
He would.
And,
He
and
would.
I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna make you guys both smile today, right?
All right.
So good Jimmy versus bad Jimmy. You know what? This week there wasn't much bad. I feel like there was one pick there was one throw should have been a pick. It wasn't, with Ramsey jumping up in the air. But you know what? I give credit where it's due. I think Jimmy played an almost perfect game. I'm gonna give him a B plus. I can't give him an A because he's not throwing for 400 yards like Mahomes, and that should have been a pick. But I'll give him a B plus. And yeah, you're right, man. If he can live up to his potential, because he can do these things. Let's face it. It's a matter of consistency. He's got, like I always said, he's got a little bit too much gunslinger attitude in him when that's not really him. He can be an elite game manager if he allows himself to do that. That's the only issue I've always had with him. But you saw some good passes this week, although there is some debate as to whether that pass in the end zone to McCaffrey was to McCaffrey or Kittle. I know there was a little debate about that. Some people say
It
it
was
was the Kittle.
definitely to McCaffrey, and only when McCaffrey could get it.
I don't know if it was any higher. I think Kittle
No,
gets
so
it though.
I looked at that. I looked at that
Did you?
replay. I watched the game a couple times, and yeah, there's no way it was going to Kittle. Like, Kittle was
Okay.
he wasn't going near that ball. Like,
If
it
you
would have
just
been,
look at
it
how
would
it
have been a
developed,
terrible throw if it was.
you could
if it was
see
to Kittle.
Jimmy actually has been going through his reads better in the last couple, at least in that game. And
Yeah.
and he when he got to that read, he could just you could just see that he knew where McCaffrey would be. He put that ball where only McCaffrey could extend out and get
safety
it.
net. It's a safety net. Having Christian McCaffrey there is the ultimate safety net. Because I didn't think he didn't think he was going to get to that read. And McCaffrey's kind of chilling out there. And he's like, okay, I'm going to run a route on a sweet spot right here on an open area in the zone. And boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, 7 points.
You know,
they said he was the fifth option on that play. Like he wasn't even looking to go there. I think at first glance, it looked like he was looking to the left side. Nothing was open. Second read was in the middle of the field. Maybe Kittle wasn't open. And then, just bought some time. And typically Jimmy doesn't do that. He's not good at sitting in the pocket, getting a lot of time, and then picking apart the defense. He tends to make late throws and bad throws when that happens. So it's kind of nice to see him, be more Brady-ish, be more like a Patrick Mahomes and buy time and be effective, in extending plays. So, I'd like to see a little bit more of that. Let's see it.
Maybe we
in a couple
will.
Weeks.
Maybe now that he has a player like that, we will.
Before we get down in the trenches, just to finish that off, I think McCaffrey did his best impression of Walter Payton. That's only happened so many times in the NFL.
It's happened 4 times. I think it depends how you look at it, but it happened 3 to 4 times total. And the first time since LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, since 2005.
That's awesome. I remember watching a game with my dad way back when I was a little kid, just going, how come Walter Payton's doing everything?
Wonderful player. Yeah. Loved Walter Payton. If
only we can get him to return punts and kick field goals, right? Just do it all.
Well, you know what? He
maybe
did
play
in college.
some DB. Maybe play some
either
DB, pick six.
Didn't he do a little punt return in college? College or high school? One of the two.
Sure.
I know he's done
he did everything. No one else touched the ball in high school, and McCaffrey was.
I like to see McCaffrey get a throw at from the shotgun position, because you know that the Niners only have 3 passes over 30 to 35 air yards in the last 3 years. They only have 3 passes that are over 30 to 35 yard in that range in the air, and he was one of them.
You can't prove that in a court of law. All right.
Sadly, CJ Beathard was another.
We tried getting the ball deep to Ray McLeod. I don't think he did a really good job of helping Jimmy out, though.
Yeah.
Granted, it was a little underthrown.
Could have jumped a little, yeah.
He needed to jump and get it at a tie point. If he would have jumped like Christian McCaffrey did in the back of the end zone, he would have got a PI, or he would have got a.
He probably can't jump that high, though. Well, McCaffrey did. McCaffrey got like a 1.5 foot off that floor, man. McCaffrey got a foot off that floor easy.
Ray's got hops. Ray's athletic as hell. Yeah, and you know what? I
know, but can he
we
jump?
Didn't really
Does
talk
he have
about this.
That's something different, though.
Yeah, I think he can get up. He had a nice game. I like the fact that he was getting tough yards on returns. I think he kind of flipped the field a little bit for us on some of those punt returns and kickoffs. So kind of a little undercover, nice little game from Ray. That's something we haven't really had in the past.
Yeah, he's starting to get better at the return.
Maybe John Taylor.
People who return like he does are so vulnerable, though.
Right.
But hey,
the last time we had a really.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the last time we had a really solid returner on our team was probably Deion Sanders back in '94.
And before him,
I just can't really think about anybody that I thought was like a real.
I can think of one
threat.
before him, Dexter Carter. He was all right for a little while.
Tyrone Drake for
yeah.
Then John Taylor.
Or who was
John
the
Taylor
wide receiver we had? Who was the wide receiver we had on our team that went to Ohio State? He was like a first-round draft pick for the Dolphins. Didn't really do much there, and then came to our team. I thought he was one of the. I thought he was. He was one of the fastest players in the league. Yeah, he had a couple of turns. Remember, there was one game back against Seattle where he had a punt return.
From the Dolphins, I can't recall him.
I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Maybe one of our viewers can give us the answer in the comment section. We'll have to punt on that one.
Dolphins. What was he there for 2 weeks?
I keep thinking of Ronaldo Nehemiah, which is way before that.
Ted Ginn Jr.
Yeah,
Ted Ginn Jr. The wide receivers with the alligator arms. Who could forget that guy?
He was the last punt returner that was an actual weapon and can break it at any time he caught it.
Yeah, he was really Harbaugh's boy.
It was a shame he got hurt on the NFC Championship against the Giants, because we could have really used them. If we would have had him that game, we might have gone to the Super Bowl that year. I totally remember him. He got alligator arms. He got ran out of Miami. He can't catch to save his life.
So you guys, I'm thinking that we should have a quick down in the trenches with Lucas Ortiz. Give us your report card. Obviously, it's going to be a good one, and then we should talk about current events, trades, and
yeah. Let's do it. So I want to shout out Aaron Banks. I was worried about him more than any other offensive lineman coming into the season. I thought he was going to be the weak spot on the offensive line. Turns out he's probably been the most consistent, healthy offensive lineman we've had.
Absolutely.
I think Troy Williams is still our best offensive lineman, although he hasn't had the best 2 games since coming back from his injury. I think Aaron Banks has really grown into that role. He's just getting mature and getting comfortable. He knows angles, he knows leverage. He's kind of just getting better every time I see him. Doesn't really get a lot of attention getting penalties, doesn't get a lot of holding calls like some of the other guys on our offensive line. Jake Brendel and Mike McGlinchey come to mind as the 2 guys that are the most penalized so far on our team. He's been incredible so far. I think that left side is, if not the best, one of the best left sides in the NFL. On the flip side, Mike McGlinchey is still struggling. Like he's a tremendous run blocker. I love the way he blocks. He's probably one of the top PFF graded run blockers in the league, but he's just, for whatever reason, he gets pushed back. He can't anchor down. He just gets ragdolled a lot of times by some of the best pass rushers in the league. And he gave up 2 sacks, and it didn't cost us this game, but in a tighter matchup, those could be sacks that cause you to either win or lose the game. So he needs to get a little bit better in that aspect of his game.
There's way too much meat on his bone. He needs to get eaten.
Yeah, he needs to start eating those big sandwiches again, those hoagies and those.
He probably doesn't have enough meat. That's really what you're trying to say. Remember, he lost 60 pounds in the off season. That's a problem.
Yeah, but then supposedly he went on some kind of sausage pork roll diet in the off season to gain weight, and it worked to a certain extent. He doesn't look as light as he used to last year, but still, I want to see him. He needs to get lower. He's a tall guy. He's 6'8", but you can't use that as an excuse. Jonathan Ogden was 6'8". Kevin Gogan was about 6'7", 6'8". Those guys,
I love that guy.
Yeah, those guys were monsters. Tony Baselli, another 6'8" beast. Like
my brother and I would sit in the stands and say, "Gogan, hungry."
Yeah.
If my man
nobody
needs to
ever
gain some
pushed.
weight,
Nobody ever pushed Kevin Gogan back into the quarterback.
If my man needs to gain some weight, I got an open invitation for you, McGlinchey. Come over to Iron Mike's house here in Florida. I'm an expert at lasagna.
Lucas, who was the giant guy next to Gogan? Because there were 2. We had a huge offensive line when Gogan.
Man,
there was one guy that was huge.
We had Larry Allen. Well, there was Larry Allen was another guard, and then Gogan was a guard. I'm trying to remember who the.
you know what? I think I was thinking of Allen. Actually, they're both the 2 of those guys. Were just,
Larry Allen was monstrous.
I think they could eat.
Frank Gore had his best year behind Larry Allen, which was Larry Allen's final year in the NFL.
Right. So getting back to the O-line, I'll grade them out to about maybe a B+, A-ish. They did give up those 2 sacks. Not a lot of penalties. I think we had 1 or 2 on the offensive line, but nothing too crazy. I want to see them. I want to see that ground game get a little bit better. I know we were running the ball a little bit with Christian. I think Jeff Wilson had a couple of nice runs inside off tackle, but I want to see like 150 to 200 yard rushing game at some point this year. And I don't want it just to be Christian McCaffrey.
No,
I want it to be a mix. Yeah, I even want to see some of those young running backs like Ty Davis Price and Mason get in there and let McCaffrey get those trick plays, those big outside plays. I want to see him more as a receiver than as a running back. As good as a running back as he is, we just can't get that guy hurt.
He's got those instincts though, man. He hits the hole like no one else. That's pretty awesome.
I mean, he is so good. Yeah, he's so good at taking a 5-yard pass, making the first and second guy miss, and getting that extra, 10 yards or so past the first down. He did that more than once in this last game, by the way.
Yeah,
he was kind of the the outlet pass that, he would get the ball behind the first down marker, and he knew exactly what he needed to do to get those extra yards. So
He
that's
was the
something that we
MVP
haven't
of the
had.
game. I think he was the MVP of the game, and then Jimmy. Well, you kind of give him to both. I give both game balls to those guys. I'm giving a game ball to Jimmy. You see that, people?
So we talked about the Jeff Wilson thing. Is there any other major current events that we need to cover, and then predictions for after the bye week, the probably well-needed bye week, considering this team is just always
so before we get to the predictions, we got to talk a little bit about the defense. I mean, they were no slouch in the second half.
Yeah.
I thought the Rams looked really good in the first half. I was a little worried. I was like, man, their offense looks good. They were picking us apart with screens. They were screening the hell out of us. It was working. I was, blowing a fuse, so to speak.
I was
pissed. I think I texted you guys. I was like, what is going on? This is just like, we're falling for the same shit we did against the Chiefs, just falling for these, screen passes that are getting 5-10 yards every time they do it. But credit DeMeco Ryans, he went into halftime, made the right adjustments, and it was
we
no
outcoached
more.
them the second half, honestly. The first half was kind of neck and neck, back and half, but we outcoached them. We do have the better coach. It's not too many weeks that I will say that we don't. We have the better coach. We have a top 3 coach in the NFL, in my opinion. We really do.
Let's go around the horn really quick and choose your favorite player of the game as far as defense goes. It could be, you can say why real quick. I'm going to take Warner because he was all over the field.
Oh yeah, that's a given.
All over the field. Absolutely. He was commanding that everybody play better, and just by the way he was playing, just setting the example. So I'm going to take Warner. So Arango, who are you going to take?
I'm going to take Warner because
don't take my guy.
Over the field, and you took my words out of my mouth.
You
took the words out of my mouth, man.
You got to choose someone else.
Warner had a sack. He two tackles for losses.
Segment,
I believe he was
you
got to
choose a different player. I took him.
So man, and you even took my words. Bosa lit up in the second half. He started to light up in the second half. He had a sack as well, and he had multiple pressures in the second half. I think Bosa and Warner, but I'm going to go with Bosa then since I can't pick Warner.
All right. Bosa, that's a good pick. He's like an aggressive teddy bear. All right. Lucas, you going to say?
So that leaves me with – so I'm gonna actually pick Oren Burks.
Nice.
I was worried that he was starting for Dre Greenlaw, but he had a nice game. Like I heard his name on a lot of tackles. He was pretty decent in pass coverage.
Yep.
For a guy that we picked up for his special teams prowess, I think he's a pretty decent backup linebacker. You can't replace Dre Greenlaw with just anybody, but Oren Burks got in there and he did a pretty solid job. That's
a great pick, man, because the team was on a high and he just stepped right up with him and played like a star. And
he was hitting all over the place too. He had some nice shots on the Rams.
I like this.
I forget who he hit, but he hit somebody.
From now on, you guys, round the horn defense. That'll be a segment.
All right,
choose a player, but if someone chooses, then you got to choose a different player, Mike. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna.
Oh no, I was teasing you. It's just that you took my words, even, man. I was about to say exactly what you said. For Warner was.
It's not our player of the game. It's the Golden Stick Award. So everybody,
the Golden
each
Stick.
one of us gets a Golden Stick. Yeah, we're gonna do the Golden Stick Award.
I don't want to know anything about your Golden Stick, bro. If anything, I only want to hear about mine. But that's another story for another episode.
Predictions. Let's move it on, you guys.
Who wants
Mike,
to start? Mike, you take it first. Mike, you go.
Predictions. We got
we need an actual
next, guys.
Score this time, you politician. Go ahead.
This is and congrats to Lucas again. McLaughlin.
Did I choose it?
I think you got the score again, didn't you? Right? Yours was the closest, no?
What did you predict?
I said like 24 to 28. I think it was
24 to 28.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember what
I think I got the closest. I said 37. I think I said
yours was the closest.
14.
So we're gonna have to write. We're gonna have to write these down so we all remember the next week and make fools of ourselves.
No, the score was 31-14. I think I got. I think
I
was
throw
the
challenge flag on that.
I think moving forward, we're gonna keep track of this stuff as well, so we can bring it up and rank on each other. So seriously, I can't remember what mine was at all. I did think we were gonna win,
You
and I
kept
did
it
think
closer to my score, and you try really hard not to
yes.
say a score, but then you said something right at the end.
I always try. I'm very political when it comes to that. I always try and
You
not,
don't even give a score. You say
I play
Niners by
both
3.
sides. I play both sides.
I'm kidding.
Next segment. Where are we going? Where are we going?
Let's keep it going. So, what's the score going to be, Arango,
That's
after the
right.
bye week?
Against the Chargers. Okay. First, let me just say, I think Justin Herbert is absolutely a fantastic quarterback. He's everything besides like a Mahomes that I would want on my team. I'm a huge Justin Herbert fan. Yes, I'm a Niner fan, but I just think Justin Herbert's fantastic. With that said, this is a game that could, this is the game now that can really start to give us confidence and really like catapult us. We lost the Chiefs game, bury it, forget about it, don't think about it anymore. We won an important game right now that we probably felt fairly confident, depending which side of the fence you're sitting on. Now we got a week off. Man, if we can win this next game, I think the confidence level skyrockets. I think the testosterone's going up, and I think we're going to go on a hot winning streak if we can win this next game. So I'm going to go. It's a high offense. He's got a lot of weapons there. He's got 2 fabulous receivers, 3 in a way. He's got weapons. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I would say it would be a high-scoring game. I think if I say 30-27 Niners, it could be a little higher than that. So I'm going to go 33-27. San Francisco win. How's that?
All righty.
I think we continue. I think we continue to open up McCaffrey. I think this is the type of game you need McCaffrey. So we could give him a little break after this, but we unload him, unleash the fury on this one. I give you about 32, 33 points, San Fran, 27 the other team. Niner victory catapults us. That'll give us much confidence. That'll just change the attitude of the team moving forward, really.
All right,
McLaughlin,
Lucas.
take it.
Okay.
I was gonna say, you go ahead.
So if I had to do word association, I would, when someone says the Chargers, first thing that comes to mind, San Diego.
Yes.
So I don't even know what city those guys play in. Isn't it just LA where it's like deja
Someone's
vu?
backyard.
Play the Rams again, but now they're the Chargers. Is that pretty much what's happening? So
the Rams play in No Fly Stadium, which is a Niner zone, actually.
Okay, so they don't play in the same stadium as the Rams, right? They don't play in our like home away from home.
Do
All right, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just getting a feel for it. So I think that it's going to be 42. Ronnie Lott's number. Niners score 42 points. San Diego, 28. And we put in Purdy for the last series.
Oh, boy.
And McCaffrey's like sitting out, icing his whatever. All right.
Icing his calves.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got
let's not hope he's icing his golden stick. Let's stay away from that one.
So I think our guys are gonna go on a nice little 3 or 4 day vacation, maybe go to Cabo, sit at the pool. Kyle's probably gonna be drawing up plays, sipping on pina coladas and margaritas. Focus on
football. I don't know. That sounds terrible.
No. I mean, he just said on the radio today, like his wife already has a little mini vacation planned for him. He goes to like some hotel with room service and just relaxes, catches up on sleep. But he's the kind of guy that football is on his mind 24/7, even if it's bye week. He's going to be drawing up some crazy plays for the Chargers.
Nice.
I think there's going to be some cool stuff with Debo and McCaffrey involved.
It's coming.
Brandon Ayuk has quietly had a really good season for us. I want to see some more big plays from him. I love the fact that they used him on that double pass by McCaffrey.
That was so
we
awesome.
Didn't really. I mean, it was such an easy play for him. You can't really give him too much credit for it, but
I yelled
nice
way
to see him
too loud when that happened, like for the apartment.
Yeah, Yeah, so it's like every week we can count on him to have 6 to 8 catches for about 80 yards, which over the course of a season is that's a solid 1,200-yard season, especially now with the extra game. I think he has about 3 or 4 touchdowns so far this season. So
Sounds right.
yeah, prorate that out to about hopefully like 8 to 10 by the end of the year. I think I want to see an explosive 49er offense. I think Kyle is going to get us 45 points this
Wow.
game. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a blowout win. I do think the Chargers will score about 20 something points, but with one or two of those scores coming in garbage time. So
What the Chargers for what city? No, I'm kidding.
yeah. San Diego Chargers, the San Diego Superchargers. Yeah,
I
I
feel
think the
bad for their
defense.
fans.
I think the defense
Yeah.
shuts them down for most of the first half. Maybe they get a field goal or a touchdown, and then it's just a lot of domination. I think it's going to be 45-22 49ers.
So you don't see how Herbert passes around us quite a bit though?
He's good. I don't think he's
They-
going to have the time to pass the ball.
They got two really good receivers over there at minimum.
They do, but I don't think he's going to have the time to get rid of the ball. I think Bosa's going to have at least two.
Okay.
At least two. Drake's going to have one. Kerry Hyder's going to have one. Omi's
Hey,
going to have
I
one.
used to always
and Fred
pick
Warner's
up
going to have
their
one sack.
Hall of Fame San Diego Charger tight end. What was his name?
Antonio Gates.
Antonio Gates.
Wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful tight end.
Yeah.
One
What
of
a
my
great
favorites.
fantasy football player.
Yeah.
Great
Basketball
player.
player turned football player.
Savage.
Yeah.
He doesn't play anymore, right?
So I don't.
No,
Yeah.
he retired years
He-
ago.
he-
He's a Hall of Famer.
Sorry.
Of course, their
As
most
you know.
famous player of all is of course Dan Fouts, San Francisco's own.
That's
Grew up in the
right.
city. Can't remember which high school he went to, but
Dan Fouts got
Dan
those
Fouts is a
amazing
pretty
3.5
cool guy.
years and nothing
Yeah.
else. He was the original Dan Marino for 3.5 years.
Him
Like,
and
he was
Steve
just a passing
DeBerg are like the
savage.
same quarterback.
You know, I overall, but Dan Fouts got 3 years literally where he was just savage, unstoppable, very Marino like. Just he was throwing for like in the upper 4,000 range before anyone else in the early 80s.
You know, I remember going to Candlestick and seeing Steve DeBerg play. It was just Montana was on the bench, and he had this thing. He had laryngitis, and they put this freaking thing on him, like this contraption. And he's out there, and I'm like, Dad, what is that? He's like, it magnifies his voice, right? So he goes in the huddle and he talks to them, and they hear it, but it's this really awkward thing. He gets hurt, and then they put in Joe Montana, and people booed him. I'm not even kidding. Until he threw like 3 passes, they're like, "Oh, all right, I guess he's pretty good."
Well, it kind of makes sense too, because if you think about it, wasn't Steve DeBerg
That's a
a
true story.
one-time NFL MVP?
He was a
You'd have
good
to look this up.
quarterback,
I
but he
could be
just
were
never landed on the
I-
even when he
I
was on the
think there
Niners.
I
we were
could be
terrible
wrong. I think there was
until
one
Joe
year
took over.
in the 70s where he got MVP. I'd have to look that up. I could be
That's
wrong.
probably right. He
I
was
think there
he
was
had
one
great
year, right around
accuracy,
77, maybe.
But anyways, I digress.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
We'll have to find out.
The podcast is taking a wrong turn when 2 minutes are devoted to Steve DeBerg.
Yeah, no kidding. I'll cut that out.
We'll
Yeah,
find
it's-
out.
On that note,
All right, you guys.
hey guys, are we going to do a podcast next week, or are we going to take a week? Are we on by as well? Are we going to be on?
I think we play it by ear. If crazy stuff happens, then we get on
Okay.
the air. If
Yeah.
not, we enjoy the bye week, and then we're back after the bye week.
Led
Yeah.
the NFL in completions once. That was it.
After
Yeah.
McCaffrey gets 7
Found out, that's
touchdowns
it.
against the Chargers.
Like to see it. I like to see it. Well, then, folks, there you have it. Until then, I would say, go Niners.
Go Niners.
Go Niners.
Take care, you
Fuck the
guys.
I think
Seahawks.
it's empty. I need a drink.
Nice.
Have a good night, guys.
Later, man.
See ya.
Go Niners.